Our original live-action titles, like the Caught in Traffic series and Complete Exhaustion, are available exclusively through Fangage. But in order to have live-action title purchasing power, you gotta click that join button and grab your channel membership. When you click the join button, you're gonna see me in video form along with a list of all the other perks that will come with your membership, such as ad-free early access viewing to all of our core videos like this one. If you're not looking to spend quite that much money though, you can always click the Super Thanks button and send us a smaller donation along with getting your comment highlighted. And as always, don't forget to click that thumbs up button and follow all of the other necessary steps in order to enable all notifications by clicking that bell. Thanks again and enjoy the video.
And I'm really sorry about the duct tape. I know it's a real bear.
Oh, say, come on, what are you doing?
What is wrong with you? Now you're working for friggin' drug dealers?
Honestly, Maya, I always thought you looked the cutest wearing that little white tape.
I believe in you more than in the prospect of any treasure.
If we do this, just this one time, salvage the Zephyr, and it's over. That's it.
It's already over.
Sam, come on!
Sorry.
I'm just glad you're okay. I love you.
She knew the tape was there.
Yeah, like...
Maybe she looked... Alright, it's finally time. The finale, part 3 of the Jessica Alba Tribulation Trilogy. I know you guys have been waiting a little while for this. It's all about sunken treasure this time around, like right back there. Look at my own sunken treasure ship. No, I mean, this is a fun one. Obviously, you've already seen quite a bit of a preview of this episode in the first 2 parts because it started with flashback. It starts, well, when the trilogy begins, it takes place on the boat from Into the Blue, and Maya's having all kinds of big flashbacks, short-term flashbacks with the storyline with Jared, but then the long-term flashbacks with Mike and the rest of the Flipper crew there in the first 2 parts of the trilogy. This one is all really set in the Into the Blue timeline here, and I mentioned in the previous commentary that Maya had entered witness protection and changed her name to Sam. I'm kind of scrapping that. That was just commentary I said. I didn't actually put that into the content. Basically what we're going to say is that her real name is Maya Samantha Graham. I don't know if Flipper ever said her middle name or not, but that's what we're going with. And ever since the incidents in Val Harbor and her moving away, she started going by Sam. That's kind of what how we're gonna make this go. But make sure you stick around for after the scene, the full scene here, so you can watch the rest of the commentary, because I've got some very interesting stuff. If you didn't watch the commentary for Yuli's Gold, make sure you go and do that. A lot of interesting stuff there too, as far as the scripts go and scenes that were supposed to be here and what actually ended up getting made. So check out the Yuli's commentary if you haven't, but make sure you stick around and watch the commentary on this one as well. We're gonna dive right into it, and I'll see you after.
But you're a big girl now, Maya. And big girls have to graduate to the big girl tape. Don't you agree?
Get him, the man! I'll meet up with you.
Bryce, you drive. I'll see you guys over there. I'll be okay. Go.
This is what we should have done a long time ago.
This is serious, Sam. I'll go to the wrong person with this, right?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drag you into this.
Let me make a call. I might know somebody who may be able to help. Okay. Thank you, Sam. This is the guy right here.
Earth to Maya.
Base?
Earth to Maya Samantha Graham. I bet this is Loverboy calling. What do you say? Think we should let him sweat for a minute? Now, I can trust you, right, Maya? I mean, you're not gonna get mouthy or anything when I answer this call, are you?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
Jared. Hi, listen, I just wanted to say that I am really, really sorry about all this. Your girlfriend says she doesn't know where my plane is. Either she's a good liar, she likes pain. I'm not sure. I mean, you know better than I do. What do you think?
Hey, Derek, why don't you just let her go?
Wake up, Jared. Her real name isn't even Sam. You think you're the only one with secrets? Hell, you don't even know your own girlfriend. Her real name's Maya Graham, and her and I share a little bit of a history. But maybe we can still make a deal.
You tell me where my plane is, and she walks.
Let me talk to her for a minute.
I would. I would let you talk to her right now, but she's got this thing in her mouth.
So pretty.
Like, you want me to show you where your coke is?
No. Not show, Jared. Tell. You give me the coordinates right now, and Sam walks off this boat.
Now, the deal is simple. I'm a heartbeat away from concluding our business here.
What do you want?
No Coast Guard, no Marine Patrol. And I put the little kiddies back on their boat when I'm done.
No, I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna go.
This isn't a partnership, Jared.
No, that's exactly what this is, 50-50. If you want your coke, you gotta meet me 3 clicks due south of Easter Point.
All right. I will see you there. Oh, and Jared. So what happened to the last business partner trying to screw me?
It didn't go the way I planned it, all right? It went wrong. Yeah, this was all wrong.
If I didn't have such a sweet tooth, I would kill you. Right now.
Bates.
Sweet tooth.
Bates.
Yes, Roy.
You got what you wanted, man. You've had enough.
I see. Now, you're the one who was right on top of it when you stopped him the other day, right? And you're the one that didn't log the location. Is that you?
And I told you it didn't merit the attention. I believe him.
They're friends of mine.
You want me to drive?
They're friends of mine, too! Ta-da!
Sam!
All right. She's job security. Now, if you want her to live, you take me to my plane, you dive with us. It'll be like old times.
Let her go and I'll sweeten the deal.
With what? Huh? That shipwreck in your backyard? What, your dog? You have nothing to give me, Jared.
Found the Zephyr. But I'll let you have the claim.
Jared, I brought you down here to save her life, not to get her killed.
Hundreds of millions, Bates.
The Zephyr
and it's
doesn't
all
exist.
yours. If you let Sam go right now, it does exist. It's not a myth.
It's not a myth.
You want it?
You found it.
Then let her go.
Okay.
Then let her go right now. Come on, Sam, let's go. We're out of here.
Go.
Let her go. Sam, he gave up the gold and they got away.
Found the Zephyr. Maybe we'll meet up in Never Never Land. Because I heard the Tooth Fairy was going to be there. And Santa Claus is coming, you know? With my Coke.
Truthfully, I don't even give a shit about the plane anymore. So long as I've got you. And don't go anywhere, Maya. I've been waiting almost 10 years for this.
So how long you been a drug trafficker?
All right, was this it?
Throttle down.
Throttle down!
Hey, Captain, there's something up ahead. Right here, Captain.
Now who's the treasure finder? I got everything I need right here.
She's a good liar. She likes pain. I'm not sure. I mean, you know better than I do. What do you think? I would let you talk to her right now, but she's got this thing in her mouth. No. Not show, Jared. Tell.
And that's a wrap on the Tribulation trilogy. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack here. At the end, just like us, Jared just can't stop thinking about the duct-taped Alba. I mean, that's kind of how I ended this, on a cliffhanger. They both escaped. Bates is still out there in this little storyline here. But go check out the movie if you haven't. Doesn't end quite the same way. But no, it's kind of, this is a very popular scene. Obviously, we covered it before since this is a recap, but for an American scene, it's very, very popular. I mean, it really is incredible because at the time this was made, Jessica Alba was considered one of the hottest women in the world, especially here in America. Every guy, knew who Jessica Alba was. So for her to finally get a duct tape scene like this, and it's a gorgeous scene. I mean, the way the tape is applied is excellent. I'm not a huge fan of wraparound gags, and this is technically like a faux wraparound. I guess it's really 2 strips. There's a really long strip, and then there's another strip around, because you can see if you pay close attention. It was actually J10 who showed me that. I don't know if I can really point that out here with pictures, but you guys can check that out on your own. Yeah, so if you pay attention to the editing here, there's a big difference between the editing with the Into the Blue stuff and the flipper stuff. When you watch this Into the Blue edit in this episode, and even if you pay attention to the first 2 parts of the trilogy and you watch the Into the Blue flashbacks, one thing you'll notice is there are no flashbacks regarding Into the Blue that do not feature Jessica Alba in them, because they are intended to be a short-term memory where she can't know about it if she wasn't there. Now with the flipper flashbacks, there are some scenes that did not involve her, and you can assume that the other characters filled her in on what happened to them, and that's why she can process the memories, and there are other stuff in Flipper scenes where she wasn't in. But with the Into the Blue flashbacks in part 1 and 2, and then here up until the phone call, you'll never see a scene that doesn't have her in it. It's all her own recent memories. So that's kind of the way I edited that. I don't know if you guys paid close attention and then kind of picked that up. But once the phone call happens, then you see some stuff with Jared. Obviously, it's kind of happening live. It's no longer a memory at that point. So kind of how I did the edit there. But there's a lot of interesting things to check out here when it comes to Into the Blue. First of all, you got stills. That's that New York Magazine article. I posted pictures of that from in the first 2, or one of the first 2 parts, maybe part 1. If you look at that picture, that's a still. That's not an image from the actual video. That kind of vertical shot of her lying handcuffed on the ground. So that's a little different. Also, there is, when it comes to her and Bates with the phone call, you have a couple different stills. I'm going to show them to you. So you'll notice one of those stills, she's not gagged. And there's no point in this video where she's sitting on the boat where she isn't gagged. So was that a rehearsal? Was that in between shots? Or was that maybe meant to be something else? It's kind of interesting. We don't really have the answer to that. But I do have the script coming here in a minute that's going to show a few things. Before we get to the script though, here is a commentary. So I'll put that one still back up here and let you listen to the commentary from the director. The director is the man who played Cougar in Top Gun, and also the main character in Christine, the Stephen King, John Carpenter movie. So let's hear him talk about this here as you watch. I'll just put the still back up. You can hear him talk about the scene with Alba.
No. Not show, Jared.
I don't think Jessica was very comfortable with the duct tape around her mouth. She had to endure a lot of this second half of the film, either bound or gagged.
Yeah, so that's some interesting commentary there. Obviously, when you film stuff like that, you do have to spend a lot of time gagged if you're filming scenes like that. And that's John Stockwell. Again, he's Cougar in Top Gun. He's the main character in Christine, Dennis. He's someone that had a pretty solid acting career back in the 80s, but then made the transition into directing. Also, the guy who played Arnold Cunningham in Christine, he also went on to be more of a director than an actor. So that happens sometimes. Younger actors end up becoming directors and they don't really act anymore. Stockwell's a prime case of that. When it comes to the script, though, for Into the Blue, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the script up here for you guys to read it, and then I'm going to do a narration over top of it.
Okay, so I'm going to briefly touch over all the stuff here on this script. This is an early draft script provided by J10, as with Yuli's Gold. The first thing you notice is Sam is once again kidnapped off-screen, similar to what really happens, except in this case, Bates goes to see her at work and kind of suckers her onto his boat. That's kind of what I got out of it anyway. Then into the phone call, you see it shows Sam cuffed to a chair. So I'd imagine probably her hands just behind her back, handcuffed, sitting in a chair, more likely than not. And there's obviously a duct tape gag, or I think it just says tape, never specifies a duct, but it just says taped, mouth taped, and the tape comes off for one of those quick little screams, and the tape goes back on. So you can imagine it's probably just a strip. It's probably not the wraparound-ish gag that she had. It's probably just a tape strip. Then, once Jared comes to the boat, there's a scene where Sam is taken out so Jared can see her, and there is no gag anymore. Probably still handcuffed. I'm not sure if it said that or not. But then after Jared is, his boat is taken over, or he's taken at gunpoint, then Bates and Sam end up back in the boat talking. So there is no gag, and it's similar to that still that we saw with Sam and Bates just sitting there. And at that point, after that, once Jared gets on the boat, then Sam is rigged up, still cuffed and strapped to a chair with a spear gun pointed at her, and it says she's retaped. So you have to assume probably just a tape strip gag again. And she struggles. Looks like a lot of close-ups are supposed to be there. Probably some serious oomphing as she's trying to struggle and get away from the spear gun. Then the gun goes off, I believe, as her chair topples over, and Bryce rescues her off screen. So probably doesn't show, really much anything. But it would have been a really intense struggle scene, probably with more sound effects, better close-ups than what we got, when she was handcuffed to Roy down in the below deck in the boat, I would say. I think the spear gun scene would have been a lot better than that. As far as the phone call goes, you see after the phone call, looks like Bates brushes Sam's thigh, something like that. I think Sam was wearing jeans in the final product, so the exposed thigh thing wouldn't have worked based off the script. But her attire would have been different as well if he took her from work and it says her bare thighs, so she would have been wearing different clothes. But other than that, the phone call that we got is still really top notch. Probably a little bit better than what was in the early draft, but that spear gun scene would have been better than that stuff that happened below deck, I think anyway. A couple other things of note. It looks like originally there really was no Zephyr. The Zephyr didn't exist. It was the Viceroy. And there's a nice little explanation for it. I did not finish the script, so I don't know how the movie ends. I don't know if there really is a Viceroy that Bates didn't know about, but that's kind of interesting. And finally, the only other thing of note here, the blonde friend, Bryce's girlfriend, the drug addict in this, the loose lips, they sink ships, that girl, that is Ashley Scott, who was the damsel in 12 Rounds, the John Cena movie, one of our KK episodes, in case you didn't pick that up.
So, very interesting. In this scenario, Alba is kind of gagged for the phone call. It probably shows her handcuffed. You can assume, based off the fact that she's later cuffed to Roy, that her bondage for the scene with the phone call is that she is handcuffed behind her back with the same handcuffs that she's ended up cuffed to with Roy. But with this, the tape is removed, the quick little scream for help or whatever, and then they put it back on. Then she's taken outside, ungagged, and sat down and talks. She's having a conversation with Bates in the script after the phone call and everything. So she's ungagged. Is that, this still right here? Is that maybe what that was from? Did they start filming that, change their minds? And then you have that spear gun set up where she's gagged again. And J10 did this really cool illustration for this.
I was just thinking, imagine if she was wearing her flipper outfit from the fire scene. Wow.
Yeah, so that's a scene we did not get. That's one of those dramatic kind of countdown style scenes. But that's probably really hard to set up, and I would imagine that's why they scrapped it. It was just too difficult to do it. And the time they were allotted, they were probably tight on time, and setting that whole thing up with the spear gun was probably just too much, or not safe, or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting how that happens. So she would have been ungagged off screen based off the script from what I see. I feel like there would have been more actual shots of her, possibly. With the phone call, I don't know exactly where Bates would have been standing right now. Maybe it says so in the script. I don't know how the shots would have looked with the phone call. Probably not quite as good as they do in what we got. But the whole thing with the spear gun would have been very interesting to see. I would have liked to have seen that. That would have been pretty innovative. In fact, I don't know any other scene quite like that. The Watcher, when they enter the room at the end, there's a shotgun pointed at the fire, I think, that Marissa Tomei. Other than that, I can't really think of too many off the top of my head. There's been some gun setups before, but that spear gun would have been pretty cool to see. So that's kind of what we got here. We got a lot. J10 made this cool photo. I used that towards the beginning of the edit. Let's see what else. We got the commentary, got the script. There's, this one has kind of a lot of extra stuff out there that we found that would have been cool to see and whatnot. It's interesting. One thing I would always like to know is, with a lot of these stuff, whether it's TV shows, movies, you can't normally find this stuff out. I'd love to know who else auditioned for this part. Was it just given straight to Jessica Alba? Did she have a deal with MGM? Who knows? Was there somebody else at the time, auditioning for this, where if we found out, it'd be like, oh my goodness, that'd have been crazy. That you never really know about that. One thing that's interesting, and it's the whole reason I made this Tribulation trilogy, was I always find it crazy how similar the Maya Graham and Sam, I guess her last name's supposed to be Sam Nichols, but they never really say it. They never even say Sam and Jared's last name in the movie. I always find it crazy how similar the characters are, just the locations they live in. Obviously, it's the same actress, but just, the predicaments they get into and the type of location they live in, it just seems so fitting, with the timeline and everything, that it could be the same character. So that's kind of why I made this. But yeah, a lot of fun, good way to do the recaps. I had quite a bit of customization dialogue in this one. You may have heard some of the little additions I did and whatnot. But it was a fun, not too complex edit to make, considering how unique it is. But I think I covered about everything you could possibly cover with the commentary. So I appreciate the support. We're moving forward. KK Olympics are next. Appreciate the support. Obviously, a lot of fun things, exciting things coming here with live action and everything else. But so stay safe, stay away from them drug dealers chasing treasure. Also, did you notice probably the most annoying thing about this? I don't even know if I talked about this in the first two episodes. Probably not, because they were Flipper primarily. But with this episode, I showed it a little in the flashback with them diving and stuff. In this movie, the most annoying thing about this movie is the way that all of these people have the lungs of dolphins. Like, they do not need to come up for air. If you watch this movie, these people, I don't care if you're a professional diver or what, like, these people just die. It's even the lawyer friend, Scott Conn from Varsity Blues. Even he has like never-ending lung capacity. He's a lawyer. He just dives down to the bottom of the ocean and stays there for like 5 minutes. It's quite ridiculous how these people do this. But anyway, it's still a fun movie, and obviously you've got this, one of the most popular, well-known scenes of the last 20 years for sure. One of the best duct tape gags. Really great face acting too. No oofing necessary. That's the thing. That's I guess, just like with Yuli's Gold, that's another thing about this. Same production distributor. The trailer does not show any of the action, even kind of goes out of its way not to in this case. And there's no oofing, no sound effects, just great visuals in this case. not as great in Yuli's Gold, but yeah, so kind of different. I would have liked to have seen the spear gun scene though. There would have been some oofing there as she was struggling, no doubt about it. But that's it, guys. I'm gonna see you guys soon. Enjoy this video. Thanks for the support.
She's a good liar. She likes pain. I'm not sure. I mean, you know better than I do. What do you think? I would let you talk to her right now, but she's got this thing in her mouth.
And you probably noticed this. I did use two different files for the Into the Blue images. One of them is, I think, the US Blu-ray, and then the other one was a German Blu-ray. I did not have the full movie in the German Blu-ray, but I do like the lighting better in that one. So, in case you were curious, it wasn't your eyes playing tricks on you.